So moving on, we just talked about the beauty queen earlier. We've been talking about sex this whole time. So, part of sex is attractiveness, right? Plastic surgery is now more popular and even more accessible than it's ever been. And we have very high standards of beauty. Question to you guys is, how is it unrealistic? How unrealistic is it? And I'll throw this to the ladies first, because this is one of those topics where I feel like I can shut up for a second and learn from y'all. Janae, are in the pageantry world. Ani, you're in the music world. Can you guys speak on plastic surgery from a perspective of did you guys ever feel that kind of pressure, either before or now? And maybe you guys can tell, how women feel, your friends, whoever, in general, about this topic, because I feel like maybe it's just more publicized now than it ever was. But I feel like so many more people have these procedures, and a lot of them can be dangerous. So what are your thoughts on it? Either one of you can go.
Janae, you can start.
Yeah. Okay. So plastic surgery. So what's prominent in the community now is the BBLs, the Brazilian butt lifts.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone wants, the booby, whatever. So, these girls are going to Dr. Miami and all these like random people. One of the girls, I mean, I know people who've gotten BBLs. They went to like Costa Rica and Spain to get these procedures done. And then they come back and Colombia, like literally dying. And then now, following on to that, like now people like marketed off of this, and like they have these women are like having these like BBL like transport, and like pretty much like a BBL nurse essentially. So like, because you have to lay on your stomach for like the first like couple of days. And so it's just, honestly, it's so unrealistic. Everything we're seeing on like TikTok and Instagram, everything is so fake. Like and that's what I think is also affecting like a lot of the young people too, is because they see all these things and they think it's real and they want to, have this certain type of look or whatever. But I mean, shit, we can even talk about the Kardashians. Like, they're full of plastic. And then, even, talking about the Black community, Michelle came out and said that she got her like stuff, her silicone, her whatever taken out because it was making her sick. Like it was leaking in her body and it was like making her sick. And so, yeah, it's very unfortunate because, and even skin bleaching too, like that's a whole thing. I can talk about that as a whole thing too. But it's really unfortunate because it's just like if we were taught, or not even taught, if I don't even want to say taught, but maybe, okay, I'll say that. If we were taught to like learn to like love our bodies to begin with, like at a younger age, and then like not be so like sexualized by men, I feel like we wouldn't be so hell bent on like looking a certain way and this and that. I mean, shit, I'll even take myself, for example, at my big age, like I'm in the gym every day. I'm still trying to like look a certain way, but that's also just because I can beat bad and I'm trying to like, just keep it. But like also, like I had a lot of body image issues growing up and, eating disorders, like all that stuff. But it's just like, because I was like trying not to like, my mom's side of the family is very voluptuous and so I just knew it was going to happen. And so when I hit like 13, I grew and it was like, oh shit, like this bitch got titties and ass, like, and then, my mom would make me wear, like, she didn't make me wear, but I would wear big clothes because I would hate the people like stare at me. And then it's like my body didn't fit me. And then I look like a grown ass woman when I was 13. And then like these men are like, I'm like, whoa, like I'm a child. You know what I'm saying? So all of that encompassing all of that, it's detrimental, especially to the mental health. I feel sorry for the girls that are coming up because I just wish it was something that we could be doing. I mean, people are trying to, but again, it's still out there. They still do it, even in the pageant world. Like a lot of the girls, I mean, I know a couple of them personally who got plastic surgery to make their titties like lift. So when they're in those swimsuits, like they're, and they was killing it. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's the world we live in.
Yeah, I also think it's pretty problematic. And I think also like there's a problem of ageism, especially in the entertainment world. And I think it also depends what ethnic group you're from, because white skin cracks. So the older you get, the more wrinklish you get. And when you look on TV, pretty much every actress, a white actress, you can see that they have Botox in their face. They barely can move their face anymore, make any sort of mimic movements. And yeah, I do think it comes also from the sexualization of women. However, I do think we as women also have a part in this. Like, it's just sad that we feel this pressure to comply. And because, I mean, 50% of the population is male, so we have a say in this. We can either do it or not, but it is, of course, it's hard if you go against that, and in many industries you will just not get the job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the unrealistic beauty standards.
Yeah.
Those always change because you look at pictures of, I don't know, girls in the 1800s. They had like big hair and like the dresses. You couldn't show your ankles or something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe if they had plastic surgery, then like you'd get ankle surgery. But there's the cost access of it now. So I drive
There's
and I see
finance
these.
for it.
I can see these like lip injections. Those are cheap now.
Latif.
Yeah, like that's a plastic surgery. Breast implants, no, those are cheap and covered by insurance in some cases. And talking about male plastic surgery. So have you guys seen the dudes with the fake abs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the big gut sticks out. You can get bicep implants. You can get like a fake jawline. There are men out there getting hair transplants on the
Yeah, that's
beard.
probably the biggest one for
Yeah. So, and we're talking about the entertainment industry. There's so many men on finasteride getting hair transplants, everything
the
like that.
Masteride.
But I also think about medical plastic surgery. So if you think of someone who's had breast cancer and had to have a double mastectomy, this is a good case where plastic surgery is good.
It's medical for medical people.
Yeah, or somebody who's had their face ripped off by a dog, or I don't know, a lion at the zoo. Like, wouldn't you want to be able to reconstruct your face? So
Yeah, I think it also came up during the First World War for soldiers who got injured. And yeah,
of course.
So of course there's a positive side of that. I actually have a student who's a plastic surgeon. But yeah, I mean, it can turn into an addiction. And once you start, where's the end of it? Because I think you always want to improve from there on, but really you just make it worse.
And like speaking of the addiction, like for the people who the peasants who can't afford plastic surgery, they have this lip like filler, not filler, but like it's like a lip gloss, but like it makes your lips like bigger. So it's like makeup, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you can get it from like Ulta or Sephora for like $30. And I mean, it'd be working for the people that it need to be working for. But
someone said skin bleaching, and so this is common too. Like in countries like India, have you
the
guys
Philippines?
seen?
I hear a lot of
don't
people
bring up Michael again.
No,
Michael, don't do it.
Bring up Sammy Sosa. Has anybody seen a picture?
Whoa, I did. Yeah,
Sammy Sosa, the baseball player. He retired. He went from looking like a Tootsie Roll to, I don't know, them white Laffy Taffies that we've all enjoyed. The mystery flavor.
Yeah, that one.
I haven't seen that, but I can already.
Yeah.
Oh.
He I guess he bleached his skin, but because he was one color one year, and it was like literally like what, the next year, 2 years later, he went out in public. But I that's how he looked. That's not him.
You could tell. No. This is someone else. Justin Jedlicka. You could just tell that's fake.
Did you? If anybody's seen, is that the fake Ken?
That's the guy from Botched as well, from this show, if anybody watches it.
That's just nasty. He looks like a...
He's a man doll.
Can you describe him?
He looks like a wolf. He looks like he's a
man doll.
He looks like he turns into a werewolf at night.
Did he want to look like a Ken doll? Is that the one who wanted to look like a Ken doll?
That's him.
Okay.
That's hideous, man.
Little
Who the fuck wants to look like that?
Who were the two brothers that they were twin brothers, and they had plastic surgery?
Mm-hmm.
They died I think they died recently, but I think you got to commend the surgeon, whoever did it, because they looked identical before the plastic surgery, and then they started to look the same as they got both of their procedures done. But yeah, those dudes blew their faces up. So it's not something that it's something that everybody can get addicted to.
I think so
everybody.
as well.
Especially when there's financing. For nowadays, they got financing
They
for
have
it.
financing. Well, the prices have gone way, way down. So then
It's
that
more
brings
affordable.
me to the next angle of this. First of all, I do personally believe that body image issues exist both for men and women. A lot of people
Always.
like to believe, and a lot of men will tell you if they're liars or delusional, because men can delude themselves too. They'll say, "Oh, I'm fine. The women gonna like me just the way that I am." That's not true. If you have a beer belly, you know it, and you feel a way about it. I know that because I had a beer belly at one point, and I felt a way about it. And even me, just being a regular skinny guy now, my body image issue was, dude, I was cut. When I was in my teens and 20s, I was a high-end athlete, right? And I was built like that. But I wasn't built like a football player. I was built like a sprinter, which I was, right? I played football, but I was a sprinter. And so my thing was, as I said earlier, I wanted to be bigger. I had a 6-pack. I wanted an 8-pack. I had tone, lean muscle, but I wanted the big calves that everybody got. Now, am I going to go under the knife to get that? No, I'm good, but I've also already procreated, so I don't really feel the pressure to prove shit to anybody. So there we go. But I do think it's on both sides. But are we to blame as much as celebrities are now? Because a lot of the people who are making comparisons, they're making comparisons not just to Kim Kardashian, but to people on IG. Or somebody on Twitter somewhere.
How would it be like if when Thor took his shirt off for the first time in a Marvel movie, he had like a beer gut, his arms aren't toned? You'd be like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, how is this guy lifting that hammer? He's not. Yeah. So, yeah, there's no well, I guess there is the Mr. World Olympia or whatever that is. So bodybuilders doing steroids. And I think you'd have to be stupid to not think that these Hollywood dudes are not using steroids.
No, they are.
Yeah, they're not going to be getting the muscle implants. They're going to be getting especially
if they need to get ready for a role in a short amount of time. They're going to be doing. They're going to taking some. They're going to be taking some shortcuts.
Yeah,
The Rock is on something.
Of course.
That's just vitamins and prayers.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
Oh, of course, that's a given, without a doubt.
But when he got big like that, I was like, okay, that's what the women like. Let me do some push-ups. It didn't work for me though.
Also,
I mean, I've been watching The Rock since I was a child.
I have
so,
to. I love The Rock. Yeah. Well, I did. I don't like him so much now, but yeah.
Not now. He's too.
Now he's known as Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Call me Dwayne. Like, dude, you were a wrestler. Let's just own that, okay?
Yeah.
Let's own it.
You can't change it. That's part of what made you. That's what.
Yeah.
And what's funny is
that was your.
I still call him The Rock, and I always will. But he had surgery for gynecomastia.
What is that?
Gynecomastia. This is where a man can get breast tissue because of excess steroid usage. Estrogen can build up, and then they'll grow breast tissue. Yeah.
Sorry, I won't say it.
So he had to go into the knife and have these surgically removed. He himself acknowledges that he's had this, but still refuses to say like, oh yeah, I haven't taken steroids which is still insane.
Maybe he doesn't want to end his day on a lie.
Yeah.
Maybe he just said, I'll plead the fifth. But I owe The Rock a lot of good times from the 90s, so me and him are cool. Dre, do you want to button this up before we wrap this up?
Yeah, like look at Batista. Batista was big at one time. He stopped doing steroids. He's small now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, snap. That definitely, it was a lie. Like my childhood was a lie. He wasn't that big naturally. Freaking.
I mean, also like it's like look, they were like hitting each other over the head with like actual metal chairs, and like they had to like keep up with like what the fuck they were going on. Like, and Chris Benoit, like Undertaker's my favorite. Kane, like they're not even that big for real. Like I've met the Undertaker in person, and I'm just like, oh wow, like you're just an old man. Like,
yeah.
Well, we brought up wrestlers because it sounds like we all came up on that. The Hulk Hogan steroid controversy. I think it was like the late 80s where.
Yep, late 80s.
Up and down.
Yeah.
I just eat my veggies and say my prayers or something like that, which tricked a whole generation of men. Even the ones now where they think that you can only spend so much time in the gym and get so many results.
Exactly.
You're never going to be the Hulk.
No.
You're never going to be Macho Man. You're never going to be The Rock without,
because they're not those people.
Yeah,
they're not. It's all an illusion. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's It's not realistic.
But I mean, that's what we looked at as young boys growing up. Young girls did as well because everybody watched wrestling, whether you admit it or not. You saw something, especially in the U.S., right?
I watched Lucha Libre. As a Latino male, that
Yeah.
That's our version.
So
of it.
when you saw those bodies, like as a kid, I was an athlete, yes, but again, I wanted to be Hulk Hogan size.
So
I
we all
wanted
had
to
a
be-
phase
I
where
used
we
to-
wanted to
yeah.
be a superhero. We wanted to have that look, that aesthetic.
I went
We all
through
went through that phase.
I went through a phase where I poked out my chest and wore my arms off way to the side, like I had the guns like that.
Sometimes
right?
I would do the
Sideways
whole
being
suit. You know how
reversed.
Superman hid his
Mhm.
Superman logo under a shirt? I would be like that, but only with Spider-Man, because that's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
feel like.
I wanted to be like the Hardy Boys, and I jumped to the back of the couch and broke my clavicle and my collarbone. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, my parents were pissed because then like I was like 8, and then like I went to go get in the shower or something, and then my mom tried to move my arm, and then I couldn't move. I started screaming bloody murder, and then they had to go to the hospital, and then they take you in like your parents in that room, and they're like, "Did they abuse you?" And my dad's a cop, and my mom was a teacher, so they were pissed. Needless to say,
Did they offer you any like free plastic surgery while you were there? Right?
I don't think so. Actually,
Give you, like,
yeah,
a
I don't know. They
clear
said my
moment?
nose was gonna be fine. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's fine. It filled
Yeah,
out.
you're fine, Janae. You're perfectly okay, Janae. Yeah. I'm glad it worked out. We made it out the other side some way,
We did.
somehow.
We
So,
survived.
Yeah. So I think it's just one of those pitfalls that I think that specifically younger people, because their perspectives on life are still forming, and maybe. And you guys can chime in before we wrap this up.
Well-
Maybe as parents too, as kids are growing up, not having the conversations with them about body image specifically, like you should have conversations with your kids about
the
finances,
birds and the bees.
or the birds and the bees, et cetera, et cetera.
To answer your question earlier, if celebrities should be held, I think to a certain degree, celebrities should be held accountable. The Kardashians, for example, I mean, they know that they're sending a bad image, and it seems like they're more concerned with profit than they are setting bad examples.
Mm.
You know that they'll do anything for money. We already know that. So, I mean, and then not just them, but celebrities in general, like, they have a lot of people following, a lot of people obsessing over them, and anything they say or do is gonna, people are gonna follow it to the teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that they kind of have not an obligation, but they should be setting a better example and not be so into profit. Because the Kardashians, they'll do, didn't Kylie Jenner have her own makeup line where she claimed that her lips were natural, but like if you look at old photos, like her lips just look regular, and then all of a sudden they're all puffed up, they're all, it's obvious. But
I
then
saw her porno. She looks completely different than she does.
but she swore that no, this is how the way my lips look, this is who I am, and obviously. So I mean, that damages a lot of girls, especially them. They have huge
And then
following.
she's
a big influence.
raising girls.
So
as
I mean,
well.
them in general, they should have a more like they should really try to set a better example, and not because at the end of the day, for them, it's all about profit. They want to stay relevant. They want to, they want to keep ranking in the dollars. That's all they care about. Profit is their main. They don't care.
They made a whole career out of it. So I mean,
they owe it to Ray J.
My attitude has always been all money isn't good money. That's always been my thing. All money isn't good money.
Most money ain't good money.
And so, when I look at that, I just look at, okay, you got these young, impressionable kids coming up. They're seeing you. What do you think they're going to want? So I feel like, again, with social media being what it is, with with all of these negative messages and expectations being beamed to you 24/7 on your phone, on the TV, on the radio, whatever, I feel like this stuff is going to get worse before it gets better, but it's good that we're all at least talking about it.